Hello friends, in this video we are going to discuss the angles formed between a parallel and a transversal. But before you could know the angles formed between a parallel and a transversal, it is very vital that you know the individual meanings of parallel lines and a transversal line. Now when you have two lines, two or more lines like this, you can see that these lines are heading in the same direction. But no matter how I try to extend these two lines, they can never meet at any point. If such thing happens, it means that the lines, whether they are two or more than two, in question are parallel. So parallel lines are lines that can never meet at any point, no matter how you try to extend them. But assuming I have one line like this and the other is like this, you will see that after a little extension, that both of them will tend to meet at a particular point. In this case, this line and this line are not parallel because after a while they will meet if you try to extend them. But these two lines are parallel because they are moving in the same path. They cannot touch each other no matter how far they get to move. So you've now seen that two lines are parallel if they tend not to meet at any point. Okay, now what of a transversal? We've talked about a parallel line being lines that can never meet at any point. In the same vein, a transversal is just a line that cuts across two or more parallel lines. Let's say you have a parallel line like this, two parallel lines, and a line moves in this direction to cut this parallel line I have drawn. It means that this particular line is a transversal. If I draw another one, this is also a transversal, because a transversal is a line that cuts across two or more parallel lines. And one important thing about this transversal is that whenever it cuts parallel lines, so many angles are generated. You can see an angle is formed here. I can call it angle A. Here I can call it angle B. This is angle C. This is angle D. This is angle E. This is F. Let's say G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, let's say P, and Q. So many angles has been generated around these parallel and transversal lines. That is what we are to discuss today, angles between parallel and transversal line. And all these angles formed between parallel and transversal line has various names like. So these are the kind of angles that are formed between parallel and transversal line. You can have the alternate angles, the corresponding angles, vertically opposite angles, interior opposite angles, adjacent angles. Okay, so let's take them one after the other. Let's begin with the alternate angles. The alternate angles are just the angles formed on opposite sides of a transversal. For example, look at the transversal line. This angle P and C are alternate. Angle Q and D are alternate. K and J, then L and G, they are alternate angles. Why? They are formed on opposite side of a transversal. But one thing you need to notice here is that they are within the same region. None of the angles is outside this particular box here. All of them are inside P and C, Q and D, etc. So for two or more angles to be alternate, one, they must be within the same region, and two, they must be on opposite sides of a transversal. So you can now see here that angle P is equal to angle C. Likewise, angle Q equals angle D. The same thing here, K and J, L and G. They are alternate, and every alternate angles are equal to each other. So you can now see the value of P here and the value of C here are the same thing because they are alternate angles. Alright, inside the alternate angles, we have corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are formed on the same side of a transversal line, on the same side. But one angle has to be inside while the other outside. The two angles that are corresponding must not be within the same region. One should be outside and one should be inside, but they must be on the same side of a transversal, unlike the alternate angles which are on opposite sides of a transversal. So now take a look here. You can see that P is inside while F is outside. So we say that P is equal to F. They are corresponding. Q is outside while E is inside. So Q is equal to E. They are corresponding. The same thing goes to A and C, B and D, okay, even K and H, inside, outside, inside, outside, outside, inside, inside, outside. So these are corresponding angles, and corresponding angles, just like alternate angles, are equal to each other. Okay, so we still have the vertically opposite angles. Vertically opposite angles are just directly opposite to each other, like A and P. They are vertically opposite and they are equal. B is equal to Q, vertically opposite. Look at it, vertically opposite. C and F, D and E, G and L, J and H, M and L, N and K. These are vertically opposite angles. They are on each other. They are facing each other vertically and they are also equal to each other. So the first three, alternate angles, corresponding angles, vertically opposite angle, are all equal to each other. These are the three angles that are equal to each other. Alternate angle is equal to alternate, vertically opposite is equal to vertically opposite, corresponding is equal to corresponding. But this interior opposite angle is not equal to each other. Rather, they sum up to 180 degrees. From here, you can see that P is directly facing D. Therefore, P plus D equals 180 degrees. The sum of two interior opposite angles gives us 180 degrees. They must be inside, facing each other, K and G, P and D. Okay, even Q and C are interior opposite angle, L and K. The angles directly opposite to each other are called interior opposite angle. They are not equal, rather they sum to 180 degrees. So inside the interior opposite angles, we still have the adjacent angles. Adjacent angles are just like supplementary angles or angles on a straight line. They sum up to 180 degrees, like E plus F is 180, C plus D is 180, AG plus J, G plus J, K plus L, G plus P, etc. So these are the adjacent angle. They lie on the same base and they sum to 180 degrees. They're just like angles on a straight line. So expect more videos that tend to provide solutions to questions involving angles between parallel and transversal line. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. All my names there are Isum Nofu Online Math. Thank you.